So to not take this into a sports metaphor, which
but
I get
please.
accused of all the time.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that in order to be really good at what you do and to be really good at what you do, the goal can't just be the goal. You have to enjoy the process. Like guys who make it into professional athletics, they love to work out.
Yeah.
They love to do the hard stuff. They love to get in the gym. They love to compete when nobody's watching. And that ends up turning into a guy like LeBron or like Michael Jordan. And what I'm finding is that people don't learn how to enjoy the process because Noelle's done all this great work that got her to where she is, and she should be loving the fact that she got there. And she can't because she got there and the goal was I do the book and then I get all of this that, to your point, KEKE, I get all this stuff that's supposed to come with the book.
It's because I think that what happens to us sometimes is we focus on the micro goal that is actually servicing the macro goal.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what that is for Noelle, and sometimes we don't know, which is why the chapters are important.
Yeah.
But let's say, for instance, she just likes to tell stories through food. That's the real goal.
Yeah.
To tell stories through food. I can do that through helping people tell their stories through food. I can do that through food styling. I can do that. And so I think what we often have to do is pull back and say, you know, I talk about this, like, it's not really just that I like to perform. It's that I like to make people believe in something.
Yeah.
I like to make them feel inspired, excited, whether that's through a Keel and the Bee, having a conversation here with y'all, or you and your family getting together watching Password. The macro goal, the real goal that I'm servicing that never has an ending is to just make people believe and feel good and inspired. And so I think that's another thing that I hear with Noelle is like, that's the micro goal was to do this thing.
The book.
The book. The micro goal was to do the book, but the macro goal, you got to really identify that to yourself, and that helps you to know that I'm going in the right direction. You feel that you're being of service to that macro goal, even when these micro goals go in the random directions that you didn't expect, because you know you're still servicing that real thing.
But this is why I want, this piece of advice is for Noelle, but it's also for parents out there. It's for teachers. It's for the people who work with young people. You know, I think we put too much emphasis on titles and salaries and stuff like that. I mean, one reason why I said I wanted to be a lawyer was because when you say that out loud and you're a little kid, the adults' responses are always, oh, that's so wonderful, right? Like, they don't even know what that is. It's like, it sounds good. I want my daughter to be a lawyer.
That's so true.
So we're constantly giving feedback to kids subtly and directly about what makes for a good life, what makes for a good career choice, what makes you a good person. And a lot of times it's tied to what's your title? What's your salary? What school did you go to? What's that named school? And we're sending those subtle messages. So now you become Noelle, and you've been all throughout your life pursuing these little applause lines that you get from adults that are a sign that this is good. Oh, you want to write a book. Oh, that sounds impressive, right? Guess I want to write a book, Mom reacted pretty well to that. And so now I see young people getting caught at going after words, titles, things, right? A salary. I want to be rich. I want to be this name thing. And that keeps them from understanding their macro because they're not spending time thinking about who am I?
That's right.
And what do I want to be in life? Because when I had to transition out of law, that was the first time when I decided at that stage after all that debt, I don't want to be a lawyer. Now I have to do the hard work of figuring out, well, who do I want to be? Because none of my degrees taught me to even think like that. No one had ever asked those questions. I was getting A's and awards and all that, but nobody ever said, who is Michelle? And who do you want to be in the world? So I had to do that work on my own. and start meeting with different people and hearing about different jobs and careers, because I was even limited to going to the best schools in the country. I was shown like 10 careers I could be of all the things in the world, you know?
How did you get yourself to that answer? I'm curious.
I started meeting with people. I started thinking, I had to start thinking outside of the box, like, what do I enjoy?
Yeah.
And it went back to kids and inspiring. It went back to mentoring. And it's like, I get my most fulfillment. I wake up and pop out of bed when I'm going to sit down with another young person who was like me, and I could like share with them some secrets, some things I learned to help make their life a little bit easier, because I know just how many young people just don't know.
And you really do that.
Yeah.
And it is really, I don't want to just, I know we're hearing it. I'm not being biased, but you really do that. And it means so much to us.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about, you know, family and unity. I think that's something that our generation is really struggling with right now. I'm not trying to speak for everybody, but we just don't know how to be a we. We don't always understand how to get from challenges to peace. It's like everything is like, well, challenges came, we gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm sure sometimes that's important to do.
Yeah.
But when you speak about your family, how you've gotten to where you are, and you always talk about there were challenges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what you get on the other side of getting through that is what you're looking for.